Like I remember pushing the record button, and then I just moved over and happened to see is like, oh, that's not recording. So thankfully, nothing lost. Maybe some mic talk if you want it, but
Nah, I don't figure there's any reason to really put that in until I've had a chance to play with the mic. I've done a lot of playing with gear in general over the past couple of weeks.
oh, I bet you have. Just for preparing for uh, your work and so forth. So yeah, nice. Do you have any standouts? Anything that's like, oh, I forgot this was great like this, or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I mostly have been figuring out if I have any gaps in coverage for things that I might need. So, like, I took a road trip up into downtown. I went close to Avondale, where the Motion Mob's office currently is, and set up a couple of cameras and a shotgun mic and a light just to record some footage on location again, just to be prepared for what all I might need. And realized that without having a subject to like figure out how all the settings are on the cameras, I didn't do a good job of double checking that like I should have, which is a good reminder just in general. But it tells me that worst case scenario, I need to put a subject of some sort, whether it's a chair or a coat rack or whatever, in the frame so that I can look at it, not just the backdrop. But I got a chance to play with the Zoom audio recorder that I had purchased and had not used yet. And that's pretty nice, being able to record discrete audio from a shotgun mic. I have 4 inputs, so up to 4 mics into one little handy device and be able to sync it up later. That's just nice.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
So nice and portable. I don't have to worry about an audio interface in a computer. It just makes it that much easier.
Oh, yeah. How much audio will it record?
Lots. So I have a 256 gig SD card on it.
Okay, so you can put like an SD card. Okay. So however much, whatever it's. I was just thinking it was like maybe non-removable media.
Yeah, it's whatever size SD card you want to put in.
Nice. What's the largest SD card they make?
Well, I own 3 512 gigs, so it's at least 512 gig.
Yeah.
I think you can get up to a terabyte, but I'm not 100% certain.
That's bonkers. That just seems so bonkers.
What's ridiculous is how cheap the 512s are compared to just a couple of years ago when I looked. Like I have so many SD cards now. It's stupid. Because when I first started shooting with the EOS R, the mirrorless, I was using 64 gig cards.
I bet they were pretty penny too.
You thought they were what?
I said I bet they were a pretty penny too.
I don't remember them being too bad, but it would have been basically the same as what I paid for the 512s, that's the part that's bonkers at this point. But then, I went from the 64s. Actually, I think I have a couple of 32 gig cards too, now that I think about it. So I may have been shooting on 32 gig cards. But either way, went from those to 128s and then swapped for 256s when they got more affordable. And then most recently swapped to 512s for 2 of my cameras. Because the Panasonic that I have has 2 card slots so that it can record across multiple cards for longer duration shooting.
Now, when I remember there's a thing with DSLR cameras, where there is something that artificially stops them at 30. It stops the recording at 30 minutes. Is that still a thing? Do you know what I'm talking about?
It depends on the camera. Part of it is throttling to refrain from damaging components because of heat, but the and with Canon, there's actually like some sort of licensing requirement that they add in. But it's also, realistically, it's also heat and component protection. So I have 2 cameras that have unlimited recording capabilities based on just how much time, 1, battery power, and 2, memory, access to memory. The Panasonic that I was just talking about with the 2 card slots, and then I just purchased an R5C, which is Canon's hybrid.
Is it mirrorless?
It's still mirrorless. It's a hybrid because it's both the photo camera and the cinema camera. So it bridges the gap. It has both OSs from their photography lineup and from their cinematography lineup. And I specifically just bought it to play with and figure out if I want to keep it and make it my primary, since it would bridge the gap between both worlds well. Because the R, while I love it, I could relegate it to a backup camera for my photo work, have basically the same capabilities as the R5C, but I'd have drastically improved video capabilities. Because the R, just the base R, has that 30-minute limit.
Mm. Yeah, I remember hearing that it was, or somewhere I picked up that it was related to, maybe, I don't know if it was I don't know if licensing is the right word for it, but it was related to, it was, if it records more than 30 minutes at a time, it's considered a camcorder, and there was some classification that they didn't want to apply to it. I don't know.
I'm sure that's also part of it, because I remember reading something about that in the write-up about Canon's choices for which models can record unlimited and which ones can't. I just don't remember all the details. I just know that it also specifically called out, like part of why the R5C was created is because it has an active cooling system, allowing it to continue to shoot unlimited duration at all supported frame rates and all, assuming the memory you're writing to can support it.
Yeah, so like my next question was going to be, well, what do camcorders do that are made for recording for more than 30 minutes? And I guess, yeah, there's active cooling. Yeah, and so, I didn't even think about that, because it's like if you've designed something to primarily, some form factor or some line of devices that's primarily meant to be a still shot instead of a motion shot, or motion photography, or still photography instead of motion photography, yeah, you would design it in such a way that, those components aren't ever going to get hot in that scenario. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I was taken aback at the form factor of the R5C, just because I didn't look that close before ordering it, because it's got a nice big bulge on the back, which is for the intake and exhaust for the active cooling system. So it makes sense. I just didn't think about it until I pulled it out of the box, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's noticeably different than the previous cameras that I've used from them, just ergonomically. But it still feels basically the same in use.
It just Canon looks R5C? Different.
Yep. I assume you're pulling it up to take a look.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. By far the most I've spent on a camera to date in the modern era, but still drastically cheaper than the most I've spent on a camera in my lifetime.
Yeah, I was just going to say, woo. Like I see it, but I don't know how much I would have really noticed it had you not said something. Because like the straight on shot, you don't even notice it. It's like you need to see a profile that's a nice. That looks really compact.
It is. It feels a lot like the R. It's noticeably larger just because of the bump, as far as putting it in a bag or something. But I was taken aback at how light it felt in hand.
Nice,
especially since it's basically the same design principles. It's still the magnesium alloy body and weatherproofing and all that they do across the entire lineup. It's just a slightly different form factor because of the active cooling system.
Yeah, it's a nice looking camera.
I'm hoping to put it through its paces some this week and make a final determination, but I have no reason to believe that I won't keep it as my primary. I already have the investment in Canon glass, so
yeah, that's the DOJ needs to go after Canon for that, because it's lock-in. Might as well go after Nikon as well.
Yeah, well, I agree. It's all of them. The only one at this point I think that is not that way is Panasonic, because they leverage the Leica mount system. But Panasonic owns Leica, so it's kind of the same thing. It just didn't start out that way. Or maybe they may have changed when they bought them. I don't know. That might be something I can go back and look up.
I was just making a snarky comment about, okay.
I know, because I agree in general, except for the proliferation of adapters where you can use any of them. Like, I actually have an adapter to let me use my Canon lenses with the Panasonic, which is interesting. But it's
Do you get all the features of the lens when you use the adapter?
no. You get a subset of the features that are supported via the adapter. So that varies depending on which lens and everything else. Like there's really no reason I would use the Canon lenses with the Panasonic, because I bought Leica lenses for the Panasonic. But in a pinch, if I didn't have a lens I needed and I carried the adapter, because the adapter small enough I can leave it in the bag, then in a pinch I could grab another lens and potentially handle it. Like it's more of an emergency backup thing for me than it is I intend to use it that way.
I saw a video of a guy take I think it was an adapter so you could take macro shots. Is that a thing?
There are so many different things.
Well, I don't know what
I was just going to say there are various lens adapters that extend the length to increase focal length for various uses, such as that.
That might have been what it was, and he stuck 20 of them together. He stuck 20 of the adapters together just to take a picture to see what. And then he gave 5 of the adapters away to people that follow him. I thought that was fun.
I would imagine that distorted image quality a bit going through that many lenses, but maybe not.
If I can find, I think it was a YouTube short is where I saw it. So I'll go back and look at my history and see if I can find it and send it to you, because I thought it was funny. And when I watched it, I thought of you. I was like, I thought you might be amused by it. So
I actually need to try. I've got an adapter. So when Canon went to the R, they changed their mount system as well, from the old EF and EF-S mount system on all their other stuff to the new RF, I think is what they call it, mount system. Either way, so I had to buy new lenses if I wanted to take advantage of the features for the new mount system, or I could just buy an adapter and use my old lenses with the new camera and just not gain some of the advantages. And I opted to go ahead and buy RF lenses because I had not bought in on the higher end of the Canon lineup for lenses previously. I'd bought lower end Canon and then higher end Sigma for the cost saving, and figured I would go ahead and upgrade lenses when I upgrade cameras. And so that's been a few years now anyway, but I still haven't used that adapter other than to confirm it worked, which is hilarious to me. But I kept all my old lenses, so I also still have my old 7D as a backup on a shelf if I really wanted to do so. I was going to sell it, but I figured I'd keep it and see if Jacob developed an interest in photography at all, and if so, it's perfect for him to play with.
I see what you did there. That's old school.
He's enjoyed playing with the point and shoot, like tough camera. I mean, he's way too young to worry about something with interchangeable lenses, but if he gets interested enough in it later, then I'm more than happy to let him play with it, and he'd have access to some really nice lenses at the same time.
Oh yeah, totally. But I was just making a comment. He developed.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were going for.
Did you ever work in a dark room?
No, I considered doing film photography a number of times and never did. When I made the transition, so I was doing digital video on the old Digital 8, High 8 era stuff. And so digital cameras had hit the market. They weren't necessarily the most prevalent, but when I made the swap to photography, I stuck with digital.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I had one film camera in my life. It was a Canon point and shoot, and I don't recall the model, and I don't recall what I did with it. But I liked taking pictures before, at a young age. I think I was a teen. I think I was a teenager or early 20s. So I say I like at a young age, but to take casual pictures because I wasn't doing anything with any sort of serious photography. And then I remember a friend of mine had the Sony camera that you would put a 3.5-inch floppy disk into, and I thought that was like brilliant.
Yeah, I wanted one of those so bad at the time.
I think
it was the Mavic.
The Mavic, yeah, you're right. I think Snazzy Labs did a video on it. Somebody recently did a video.
I'm not surprised.
Because it was, it was a really interesting idea. I mean, those pictures were really small, but it was just like you could, I remember thinking, oh, you can pop out, put in a new disc, and it's like, when you're encumbered by the status quo of what to do, yeah, that's what you go for. That's what appeals to you. I just remember I had one. In my lifetime, I had one little case that would fit 3.5-inch floppy disks into. And you lift up the top, you go through your disk, you rifle through your floppy disk, you find the one you want, you put it in your computer, and you read write to it, whatever, and put it back. I had one of those, and I remember I think my uncle had one that. It was the classic, like a light tan color bottom and a transparent brown lid, and it had a lock. You could lock it.
I remember those
for $5.25.
Yeah, we had a handful of different storage devices for floppies for 3.5. I don't remember having many 5.25 discs personally. I know we had a few. But I don't remember it being a lot. I remember a lot of 3.5 drives, discs, though.
Yeah, I loved when AOL would send you. Whenever I could find AOL, I'd get them and fix it so that I could, because disable the write protection. Yeah, and just I had so many AOL discs in there because when you're like a teenager, I don't want to spend money on that's like. I'm trying not to spend money because I don't have any, and I'm trying to copy my friends' games on disc, and because I don't have any money, and I remember living that life, and I had a lot of AOL discs.
Yeah, we reused a lot of those too.
It just made sense, but I don't think that they were. I don't recall what their capacity was. I don't think it was the full megabyte and change. Almost. I think they I feel like the capacity of the ones that I use most of the time were almost 1.5 megabytes. Am I right?
Well, the standard would have been 1.44.
Yeah. I think that these were the ones in the AOL were like half of that.
So technically, you had single and double density discs. If you really wanted to get technical, and so.
Well, but see, that's
single
a different
density
thing.
Would be half of what a double density disk capacity would be.
But then there's
it's
high
not
density.
A different thing.
No, but
it's
read
just the way it's referred to.
No, but there's something about how the read head works, and there's some if you have a double density. I gotta go back and find it because at the end of the day I didn't do that much with disk, and I wasn't around for that many changes of formatting of those disks or the different various formats, because there's double density and high density, and they were different things, and I don't remember what they are. But I remember there were some that there were certain ones that they would not read the others, or you had, I think if you had a double density disk, you could read the half density ones, but you couldn't write to them because it would write incorrectly somehow.
Yeah, we'd have to go back and look it up at this point. But I know as long as you had a drive that was capable of reading the higher density, you could read the lower densities as well. It was backwards compatible from a read perspective.
Yes, that fits what I'm.
I don't know that I ever tried writing to a lower capacity disk firsthand, so any knowledge there would have been theoretical or something that I read.
Yeah, I have to. I'm relying on what others have described. So there was single density, double density, quad density, high density, extra high density. Those are the ones that I know. Then I remember in the late 90s, there was the super disk. It was the same 3.5-inch floppy, but it was you could put 240 megabytes on it. Do you remember those?
I do. Was it 240 or was it 120? 120 is what came to mind when you were talking about it.
There was a 120 and then a 240.
Okay. I didn't look that closely at them. I remember them for sure, and I know we had a couple come through the computer repair shop that I worked for. I went the zip drive route.
Zip, like iOmega zip drive.
Yep.
I worked at a place that had iOmega zip drives. My sister and her husband had a external zip drive. Didn't iOmega also make the Jazz drive, or was that another manufacturer?
They did, and they also made the Rev drive.
Yeah, and again, didn't need to pay attention because around that time, you could also burn things to disk, and depending on what it was, it made there were sometimes that it made burning things to disk made sense, but it didn't take long to start using like USB flash drives. Like the zip drive did not last long because of the flash drive.
And the Rev drive didn't either. The Rev was basically a compact tape drive to an extent. It was just faster read and write than a traditional tape drive, but it didn't really make sense. Like I had one just because I worked at the computer repair shop. Like there were some things they would get just because of easy access, and somebody would buy something and return it or whatever. Like there were plenty of opportunities for me to play with newer technology at the time. And I do remember the zip disks being something that I used heavily for a short while, but even that gave way pretty quickly to rewritable CDs, so CDRs, CDRWs. And I stuck with that for a long time. And then
it made sense.
I don't know that I really adopted USB flash drives very quickly. I had one fairly early on, and I would use it for certain things, but among the circles I was in, CDRs and CDRWs were just most convenient and prolific.
Yeah, I burn a lot more disk than I had USB drives, but the USB drive was like for a specific use case. Like I think probably similar to you, but it was definitely for like if I had to take it was for printing. For a lot of times it was printing because it's like I've got I wrote a paper on my computer, my own computer. I don't have a printer, so I put it on a thumb drive and then take it to school and print at the computer labs there. So sometimes I went to other people's schools who had free printing, who didn't charge their students to print. So I did that too. Man, I think about that from time to time. The kids that I didn't ever live in a dorm, but I just remember, the kids that had the tower, the desktop computer, and they'd write their term paper in their room, or they'd put it on a drive like that and take it to the library and use the library's computer, but at a minimum, print it out at the library. What a day! Because you couldn't just email them to your professor and get credit. They wanted you to print it.
Yeah, I printed a lot of things out at either a library or the school.
I'm pretty sure these are the same professors that are of the same generation that would print emails and take them home to read them.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, for most places and email providers, you didn't have ease of transition between email on this device and that device either for a long time. Like during that era, it was very much you download the emails to that specific computer.
Pop.
Yep.
Yeah. I think about those days, and I was like, "Oh, that's so quaint." And yeah, I worked at a place where they had, I think they had a G4 server, and it was running FileMaker server, and I remember it had a zip drive. It had one internal, and I think those were that computer and my boss's computer, who was the DBA administrator. The DBA. I think they were the only two computers that had internal zip drives, but I don't remember what he did. I don't think it was backups because we also had tape backups, but that might have been a network device to back up everyone's computer onto tape. I don't remember, but man, it's just thinking about it, it's so antiquated.
I remember one of the computers that I built for myself while I was at the computer repair shop. I actually put an internal zip drive in because I was using those disks so regularly to save off generally, well, for the most part, backups for me, right? But I was saving off games or other things that I needed more storage capacity than I could easily put on some, types of media at the time. But on a zip disk, I could load it up with, 30, 40.
Yeah.
It made more sense from an archival perspective, and that let me keep my costs down on the internal hard drive at the time because that was such a big deal. But I remember toward the end of my time at the computer repair shop, it was a big investment to go with two 120 gig internal drives. That just seems so paltry now. It's like I can carry more than that on a SD card that cost me less than $100, and here at the time it was how many hundreds of dollars to do those internal drives at
You can buy a micro
7,200
SD
RPM.
card. Yeah, I know. It's. I mean, 20 years from now, we'll be making the same comments about what we are doing today. So, yeah, I do remember. I do remember that. I do remember also like there were like the zip drives, or the zip disks. They were relatively thick, and I thought, okay, this feels like it could hold 150 megabytes or however many. I think the largest capacity was maybe 750, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that was for the Jazz drives. The zip drives, I remember 100 and 200, I think, maybe 250. But I don't remember it jumping up from there. I think the change in format was what drove the change in storage capacity. And I could be misremembering that too, because by that point I was going to CDs, CDRWs. So
I definitely know that early on, the Jazz drive had a higher capacity. But looking at the Wikipedia site, it looks like when USB 2 was available, they went to a 750 capacity. They had drives that supported FireWire.
I did remember the FireWire drives. Part of why I chose the Rev drive when I did was because it was FireWire.
I loved FireWire. I thought FireWire was fantastic.
We've recently had this conversation.
Yeah, I know. It was like maybe a week ago.
Oh, it was a little bit longer than that, but not that much longer.
Yeah. Anyway, are we gonna? Should we talk about a thing?
Well, I know you've got a hard cutoff time, so we can talk about a thing, or we can continue a meandering conversation, and I can rope in part of what we've talked about with cameras and formats and all for the show as well. It sounds like we should just continue with the generic conversation for this evening.
I guess so.
I'm going to add another fun little. I put it in the pre-flight section anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and bring it up. I have a really big peak design problem.
I know.
I've added more to it this week. At this point, honestly, they really should just sponsor the show.
I want to live vicariously.
I ordered an additional 30-liter everyday backpack, charcoal. So the one I had was in the ash gray, and I have it. I still have it. It's still using it. It's my. At this point, I'm going to call it my climbing bag. It's my general outdoor bag for day trips, kind of thing. I was using 2 messenger bags for the audio and video stuff, and I decided I really needed slightly better storage capacity, and easier to carry, combination of bags. So I went ahead and did another 30-liter, and then keeping one of the messengers available for general on-site video production, photography, whatever. And then the spare messenger, I have to figure out what I'm going to do with. I think it's going to be moved back to a true everyday carry, like office bag, like I was using it before I had repurposed it into secondary camera carry bag. So it really is just because with the additional camera body and the addition of the gimbal for the camera bodies, I just needed a different carry arrangement. And the 30-liter everyday backpack made the most sense because I could then use a backpack plus a messenger, carry everything I need for on-site production that doesn't have its own carrying case as it is, and a lot easier to deal with. The problem is that I had decided I couldn't put my hands on a couple of my capture clips because I don't know exactly where they are. So I just ordered another one because why not? What's one more? Mostly because I wanted to make sure I had immediate access to one to put on the messenger. And then whenever I find my other ones, great. I just have spares. Not a big deal. I have enough bags. So I don't have enough capture clips to cover all the bags I have. So
Right.
It's not a big deal to add one more.
Honestly, that's a thing that I would have done. I would have bought a clip. I feel like I'd buy a clip for each bag. Just be like, I want to put it on there. It's there, and it's always there.
And they're so ridiculously useful. I mean, it's a phenomenal system. I really do love the capture clip. Of all things they make, that's the one life-altering, workflow-altering thing. Like all the rest of it is just great and convenient and makes the most sense for my use in a lot of ways. But the capture clip really changes everything about how I shoot on location because I can just slide the camera on the clip and walk around and I know it's secure. I don't have to worry about it. So yeah, props to them for that. That was their first product as well. So
yeah, that's what got them started on Kickstarter, right?
Correct. And then with all of that, I went ahead and ordered an additional tech pouch as well because I need to separate out some stuff. And I'm tired of trying to use one tech pouch for everything that I need to carry for travel, and then trying to put everything for on-site production just in the integrated pockets and all. So I finally just said no. I'll get an additional tech pouch for my on-site production stuff, and I can figure out what to put where as it makes sense and not be trying to cram everything in various nooks and crannies and losing track of it.
What color did you get there?
I went with black for that one. Real basic, but I needed it to be quick ship, and for whatever reason, I could not get checkout to work on Peak Design's website directly. I had to buy via their store on Amazon.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it was something with, it wasn't, I mean, it's something with Shopify, or Shopify is who they use, right? Yeah. So it's something with the processor where it was claiming it couldn't ship to this address for some strange reason. And then it said it couldn't ship to the old address either. And I've shipped things to both addresses without a problem. So
yeah.
Shopify had some issue going on, and I didn't want to fight with it. So I knew that Peak Design also had a store on Amazon. And so as long as I was ordering directly from them, I was okay with it.
I didn't realize I had a store on Amazon. I think I've only ever ordered direct from them.
All of my orders prior to this one have been direct through them. So whatever happened is annoying. But yeah, I knew that they also leveraged Amazon or a storefront on Amazon.
There's some sort of weirdness with my account with Peak Design. I don't get emails. I get all of their marketing emails, no problem, as far as I can tell. I get lots of marketing emails, but I don't always get order confirmations, and I'm like, and shipping confirmations and so forth. Any updates for that? And I'm like, that's really annoying. It's like I actually have a bunch of Peak Design products that I need to actually register and make sure I have in the system, so that if I needed to, I've got one thing I want to do a warranty claim on, and I think it's in there, but everything else, like if I needed to, I couldn't.
As long as you have your proof of purchase, you can.
Well, that's the thing. That email is my proof of purchase.
You didn't get the order confirmation either?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I didn't get order confirmations.
Interesting. Anything you order from them directly, though, should be. So, well, obviously, I can't speak for sure because, I don't have the problem with the emails either. But everything I've ever ordered from them directly has been in the system without a problem. There was one thing that I had to provide a receipt for, and that was because it was technically fulfilled via Kickstarter, not an order direct from them. So even though it was direct from them in a roundabout way, I still had to provide the proof of proof of purchase for that item, and that made sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too.
But that's been the only time I've had to worry about that piece. Everything else has been in their system.
Yeah, it's. I think it's like if I look, I have like all of the stuff I initially bought, like the first few orders, all of that stuff is in there. And if I look at my past order, like my order history, I only have my most recent order, and I cannot find I cannot find any emails. Like I don't know why.
I know we've talked about that before too.
Yeah, I thought it was just like one time thing, but it's actually. I remember the last time I ordered something, I never got a confirmation email, and I also never followed up with it. So, and it also shows like if I go to look at my default address on their account, it's got the correct address, but if I go to order something, it has my old address. Like it doesn't have, like, I'm not sure what's up with my account. My account is like foobarred.
Well, I do know the account information in your account with them is different from the account information that is pulled up via checkout, because the checkout process is via Shopify. So it's technically two different systems storing the address information as far as between those two.
I just know, I know that like last September when I ordered my iPhone case, it went to my old house because I didn't realize that the address was wrong. So it might have been, but like when I'm like looking on their website right now, like if I go to manage it, I saw my old address as the shipping address. I don't know where I saw it. I can't find it. But if I look at if I go manage my my address book, it just has my current address. It doesn't have anything. It's weird.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying on the addressing there. Like if you're in your account for Peak Design managing your addresses, that's one thing. That's one system. But during the checkout process, it actually pulls the information from Shopify's system. So it's technically a different stored address at that point. Which I actually, when I was having trouble placing the order, I went ahead and managed the addresses appropriately, so they removed the old address out of the Shopify system. But I still couldn't get it to ship here for whatever strange reason. So
super weird.
Yeah. That's all right. I still got my stuff.
Nice. In a timely manner, I hope.
Yes. Well, it's Amazon. It was next day.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, now that, if I can order directly from Amazon, I might do that just because I do get those emails.
Yeah. For those, the main thing is just to make sure you keep the email, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
What warranty, if you want to share, what warranty issue do you need to?
So on the everyday backpack, I have the magnets that hold the shoulder straps in place have detached from the back of the bag, and so they just sort of float inside that fabric, and I have to like push them up and down. Like it was started with one, and now it's both of them. And I remember when I was in San Francisco a year and a half ago, I went by the Peak Design store and asked them if it would be covered by warranty, and they said, "Oh, most definitely." And they said, "We'd swap it out for you right here, right now, but we don't have a black bag." And so I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, there are very few things that are not covered by their warranty, I have found. So the original Messenger that I had a warranty claim on. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was something about just the finish on a part of the fabric, like peeling or starting to unravel or something. I don't remember what it was. But it was immediately, yep, go ahead and we'll swap it, and got a new one. Actually got a secondary version of that particular bag because they didn't have the originals anymore, which is just a nice little bonus upgrade for me. And then, Yeah. And then I don't remember what the other issue I had. I had some other issue with the bag and had it swapped. I think it was the same one actually, and had it swapped the second time. And that bag's been great ever since. Like I certainly have no complaints about their stuff, regardless of what it is. I use them heavily, and they go through hell, and they hold up extremely well. So, whatever little minor issues come up that they take care of from a warranty perspective is just, it's fine. I don't know of any other company that stands behind it quite the same way.
There's probably a few out there, but it's just like, yeah, they have a really solid warranty program. I actually, I instead of just submitting a claim, I reached out to her customer support because phone case that I got for Becca for her, she's got an iPhone 12 Pro. She used it she bought herself a phone case and she, destroyed it. And it was like clear and, sometimes like inexpensive clear plastic will turn brown. Well, that happened to this. And she was like, I don't like this. She's like, nice stuff. You find something for me. So I was like, cool. Yeah, I'll order it. And I ordered her the case. And it fell apart after maybe like six-ish months. Like the sides were coming apart. And so I just took a picture of the damage and sent it into Peak Design Support. And I said, hey, is this something that's covered by warranty? And they're like, yeah. They said, is it in your account? I said, yes. I actually had it registered. And they said, yeah, we'll swap it out for you. They said, do a warranty claim and no problem. And I think they gave me a number to reference, something like that. So they made it really easy. And they sent a replacement one out. They said, and the replacement one I got was like, hey, it had a card in it. Said this was a previously used product. It's been inspected. So like it's like a refurbishment kind of thing. And they're like, should be in, basically, without saying it quite like this, but it should be in better condition than the one that you submitted a claim for. They said, don't worry about sending that back to us. We just deactivated it, or, they put it in a status that it's been, it had a warranty replacement. So you couldn't submit another claim on the same thing, which, makes sense. But yeah, it could not have been any easier. And that was like 6 months ago. And the replacement, case is in tip-top condition.
And they, with the newest round of cases for we're on the 15 now, right?
15
yeah.
Pro, yeah. 15 Pro.
They had an issue where the side button had an extra little gasket layer that would apply too much pressure and automatically trigger the volume buttons. It all comes down to they were trying to get a case out on launch day, and Apple is notoriously difficult to work with regard to details. And so they gave you 3 options to remedy the issue. You could just remove the gasket and they would give you a store credit. You could request a replacement button kit, which would be basically pop out the existing button assembly and pop in a new one and it'd be good to go. Or you could wait and have a full case replacement. And just the fact that they offered all of those was nice. I mean, I just pulled the gasket out. There's no reason for me to. The case works fine. There's no reason whatsoever for me to go through the extra hurdles of dealing with the entire button assembly or
especially they gave a discount on it, right?
Yeah, free $40 basically. So the case cost me $9 instead of $49 or whatever. But it's the way they're willing to approach service logically and in the way that best suits the business and the customer is just it's very much appreciated. This has turned into a Peak Design ad anyway.
Yeah.
That's all right. The more people that know about them, the better. I will happily send business their way, even for free. Even saying that, though, if Peak Design ever catches wind, sponsor.
Right. We have a number of different ways set up for you to get in touch with us to provide feedback, ask questions, or just comment in about something we've discussed.
You can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at untitled_hosts, or shoot an email over to untitled.hosts@gmail.com.
Or get in touch directly with Jesse at jthart.com, or get in touch with me, John, via telepathy.
If you would like to support our work or are interested in listening to our new after-show feed, head over to patreon.com/theUntitledPodcast and take a look at the options we have set up.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you've enjoyed the show.
And we hope to connect with more of you as we continue this journey.
That's a wrap.